What's up, studs and studettes? Welcome to another Big Stud Podcast interview episode. This is going to be an interesting one today. This is the first time me and today's guest has actually conversated, as well as this is the first podcast he's actually agreed to be on. So I don't know if that makes me special or he's just really desperate to get on a podcast. I'm not sure the answer to that yet. But I actually followed him on Facebook, and what intrigued me about his profile was his picture actually says no longer on Facebook, catch me on YouTube, basically. And I'm like, well, that's interesting, because I had heard about him. I had heard about the platform that he built that we're going to be talking about today. And then so I was like, this is interesting. Like, so I looked him up on YouTube and started engaging a little bit there and seeing some of the stuff going on and looking around. And he started getting more active on Facebook. And I'm like, look, this appears to be a valuable platform and program for contractors. And I want to better understand, where it came from, how it happened, how we got here, and ultimately building an app isn't for the faint of heart. I'm in the process of building one right now, specifically internally for WinRate. It'll be a client only app to help engage our client base more effectively, but going through the process personally, it is not for the faint of heart. It is an incredibly complex, incredibly frustrating, and it takes longer and costs more than you ever thought possible. But it's part of the process. So today we got Kevin Robert with Job Command. Kevin, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, very first podcast.
So why did I get the honorary first yes?
Yeah, I don't know. I've always been kind of uncomfortable doing the video thing. I'm trying to work up to that. So I don't know, man. I like your stuff. I've been following you for a while as well. Um, and then lately my engagement on Facebook's been kind of low. So you've been one of the few people liking my posts. So like, hey, I
Well,
like
there you
this
go.
style. Go on.
Stay consistent, stay in front of people, and you might just get them to say yes and bring you some value. So
Exactly.
give the people who maybe are not as familiar with you like a background. How did you get to this point, and what led to the creation of Job Command to begin with?
Yeah, definitely. So again, my name's Kevin Robert. I'm born and raised here in SoCal. I'm actually in San Diego, California right now. I was the owner of Powerhouse Renovations, which is one of the largest home remodeling companies here in Southern California. And then I'm the founder of Job Command. Long history in sales, working for other companies, and bunch of adversity along the way. But I basically created Job Command just kind of out of necessity for things that I needed to do a little bit better and more efficient with Powerhouse. So, as we get into like the, some of the things that it does and stuff like that, you'll kind of be able to see why we created it. But
Yeah, so
that's
I guess
pretty much it.
giving some context to Powerhouse. So like I don't know like financially or employee count, but obviously you've built a pretty successful brand. And I'm sure like different requirements for applications happened at different seasons of the business, right? When you first start out, you're like, probably like most people, you probably had the spreadsheet you were operating most stuff off of. And then you get into
Yeah.
some QuickBooks, you get into some applications, you get into some automation. So how did you, as somebody who's built a successful, like multi-market, realistically, I don't know your revenue number, but I'm gonna say multiple millions of dollars company, how did
Yeah.
you go about analyzing applications as you look to integrate into your business? One of the biggest, as I coach contractors, like, well, Mike, which one do I choose? And I'm like, bro, they all do part of what you do, and none of them do everything you want them to do. And you have to figure out how to like build this Frankenstein of a process a lot of the times, because the fully automated, the fully customizable typically is out of price range for a smaller contractor. But as
Yeah.
you built your company, so how big is your company? If you wanted to give a revenue number, just to give people some context, and at different stages, how did you go through implementing, researching, finding, and selecting different applications to implement into your business?
Yeah, definitely. So right now we sit right around like 500, 600,000 a month in sales.
Okay.
We were a lot higher than that at one point, but we probably grew a little bit too fast. So we've
Don't we all?
toned it down a little bit. Yeah, working on production. I getting the jobs done and being, more efficient with that and stuff. But that's where we're at right now. And yeah, as far as like technology selection, um, we've to be honest with you, I own a tech company, but we've never been like real tech savvy. Um, which is like one of the things we built Job Command around. If you look at the platform, it looks like it's from 1995, but it works really good. Contractors seem to like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
my developers tell me I like every single week we need to update it to actually look like it's from this era. But yeah, that's kind of
You're the guy like that needs like the two-way Nextel phones back. Like
yeah, exactly. So we've always used we've just kind of used like the stuff that's out there. We're using like MailChimp for a while for like marketing emails. We're real big on marketing emails, staying in touch with past contacts, stuff like that. And then we use Job Command or Job Nimbus, the CRM, pretty much the whole time we've been in business. We just recently switched to the beta version of the Job Command CRM, which we're going to be launching here next few weeks. But yeah, that's kind of the only things we've used as far as technology, to be honest.
so with Job Nimbus, I implemented that in the roofing company that I was leading for a little while. Was it the like the way that they built out their triggers through different stages of the process? Was it their automated communication style? Like, what was it about Job Nimbus that had, because I'm sure that wasn't the only one you looked at. I imagine you looked at several. What was it about Job Nimbus specifically? And this is not a pitch for Job Nimbus. I'm just understanding. I like asking business owners how they make decisions. I think it helps other people in decisions they have to make.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't remember which other ones we looked at. I think we looked at Job Nimbus, we looked at like Job Progress and stuff like that. I don't want to turn it into like, Job Nimbus is the best, everyone else sucks. I mean, it all depends on, what you're all about with your company. But I think for us, Job Nimbus it was more like the ease of use thing. Ease of use was kind of like the big selling factor. It looked real simple to use. The user interface was real simple. So that's kind of, we ended up going with it because of that. And then we just never switched, just for the fact that switching CRMs is such a pain in the ass, right? Getting everything switched over to the new one. So we just kind of stuck with that, and they've made some good changes over the years, but they haven't changed anything where it got like real complicated. So yeah, just stuff that's really easy to use is what I'm looking for. Because again, I'm not very tech savvy. I run a tech company. I'm 30 years old, but I'm probably have, the tech knowledge of like, these older, like contractors in their 50s and stuff, like the guys that we work with, right?
Yeah.
So
one of the funniest terms I've ever, like, I was coaching a sales leader team at one of our roofing company, and one of the sales managers was like, yeah, I'm just a tech tard. I have no idea how to use an iPad. I'm not interested. I thought tech tard was like the best little one-liner I've ever heard. I thought that was hilarious.
yeah, like I just recently found out what QR codes are. Like QR codes are like a big thing right now. I like just started using QR codes.
It's been a big thing. That ain't new. Like that's like
yeah.
you're solid 5 years behind. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude, I just started using those like last year.
So let's talk about what couldn't you find that made you want to go through the process of building an app and building a technology and building this. And you could say all day, maybe it doesn't look as modern as you want it to, but you built something that brought you a value. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, you have like over 2,000 users now. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have just over 2,000 users. We've been in business. I believe we just passed the 2-year mark. So
that
we're
seems
like
pretty
2
quick.
years in a
Like,
month.
that seems pretty quick to that quantity. And so you had to have been doing, you had to do something right. Whether you understand technology or not, you understood a gap in the marketplace that at this point 2,000 people have agreed with. What was it? Like, what couldn't you find, or what was missing in your system that you built Job Command to fill the gap on?
Yeah, so one of the things, so when the platform first started, it was mainly a direct mail automation platform. And there's a few guys out there that do that. They have really good platforms as well. But when I started Powerhouse, one of the things that I would always do over here is every time I'd land a new job, I would go out and put either door hangers on the doors, or I'd pass out flyers or something like that.
Yep.
And we got calls from that pretty much every time. We'd always land at least like one other job in the same neighborhood, right? The problem is, obviously, you got to go to the print shop, you got to go to either you or your guys go actually walk the neighborhood and get those out. So that's kind of like the first thing we automated. Basically every time, it integrates into your CRM. Every time you land a new job, like every time you change a lead status from like appointment set to deal closed, you could have a postcard blast go out. We do postcards, flyers, handwritten mailers, gifts, and stuff like that. And so that was kind of the first thing that we launched out of necessity for me. And then, we started to provide data. Like we work with a lot of painting contractors and remodeling guys. And a really hot audience for them is new movers, right?
Yeah.
Something like 70% of people that just move into a new house are going to do a home improvement within the first 6 months, usually right away. So we started integrating that into the platform. Now they can, do a search in there. They can pull up a list of all the people in their service area that just closed escrow on their house, and then they can launch a campaign to them. And so it's all kind of based around really simple stuff that like people know they should be doing. Like you should be doing neighborhood marketing. It makes a lot of sense to target the most likely buyers in your area. It's all like stupid, simple stuff, right? But we've just kind of made a way where they don't have to. It's so easy that for them to not do it is like they're just not trying at that point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's a simple but somewhat challenging, right? Like that's business. Business is simple, it's just not easy, right? So what you're describing now is like, okay, find your highest propensity to buy individual and get your information in front of them as efficiently and consistently as possible, right? That's basically what you're trying to do. And then you found ways to, so if I'm understanding just as my own back end, like you basically just found a way to source data, organize it into an absorbable delivery method, and then to be able to click to, I'm assuming, outsource the delivery of the cards and that kind of stuff. Is that a basic understanding of what you've done?
Yeah, pretty much. We have a couple vendors in the US here, and then we also have our own print shop local that we fulfill through. So yeah, that's basically it.
So what all right, full transparency. I'm excited about this conversation because I have historically been against print advertising. Not against it. No, I'm not like, oh, it's stupid. I've never really thought it worked very well. I've never once gotten a mail thing in the card in the mail and been like, oh, I'm not going to throw this out. Let me call this person. So like, what have you seen? Obviously you believe in it and it's clearly done something for you, or you wouldn't have put all the effort into this. What are conversion rates? What is anticipated return? What results have you seen from this activity that make it something you feel so strongly about? And again, I'm not anti-print. I'm more of a relationship guy. I'd rather go knock the door than mail something, but that's obviously not efficient at all. So I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so the main thing is it's not like a one or the other thing. So I'm not telling people like, hey, don't go do internet marketing, just do direct mail. It's kind of, it should just be kind of a supplement to what you're already doing, right? But we typically see, what we do over here is around every job we land, we'll send out 100 postcards, and we'll usually see 4 to 5 calls every time we do that. Okay, and to send out 100 postcards is like $45 through us, so it's not much.
I mean, right? A $10 to $15 lead acquisition cost is pretty nominal in a, for a remodeling company doing $20,000 to $50,000 projects.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like the typical response rate. Obviously, it goes on your offer and stuff like that. We've done like more like advanced offers, like running like sweepstakes and stuff, giving away a free project or giving away part of a project as a way to like drum up a bunch of people that we know are interested because they opted in to win that free thing. And then we'll go through and sell a bunch of those jobs as well. And with that, you could see like we've seen like a 10 to 14% response rate on stuff like that. So there's some cool things you could do.
That's better than most email campaigns, I got to imagine. I mean, like you said, you were big on email. So how does it compare? So you said you did a lot of email marketing with MailChimp. How does the mailer compare to the email marketing you were doing previously?
Yeah, I mean, if you're just sending out postcards that are targeted towards people that are ready to buy right now, it's about the same. So you're talking like a 3-4% response rate, which is about what you see on just regular old emails, at least for me, So, it's comparable. I mean, we do a lot of, so that's if you're just targeting people that are ready to go right now, right? Which is like a very small percentage of the audience. So there's always people that, a real small, when you send out a mailer of say to 100 people in a neighborhood, there's going to be a very small amount of people that are ready to go right now. There's going to be, people that are just never going to use you. Maybe they have like a friend or family member in the business, so they're just not going to ever respond to you. And then there's a large percentage of that audience that are like the maybes in the future business, right? They're
Yeah.
people that if you have the right offer, they're maybes, right? You could probably convince them to get an estimate. They're going to tell you, hey, I'm not ready to go right now, but I'll take an estimate. And then you can get in there and close a deal. Or they're people that are, the future business, where if you could run a campaign to, at least capture their info, if you're not going to sell them right now, then, they're going to, you could stay in front of them via email or whatever. And then when the
Is that
time
how you're
comes,
using QR codes now? You're putting them on the mailer so they can, opt into some form of offer to collect their information?
yeah, we do a lot of stuff like that. We do like we'll do like a neighborhood vlog sometimes
Okay.
where if we're doing like a multi-day project, like like a kitchen remodel or something, we'll send out a mailer with like an offer, hey, get a free estimate now. But then on the back of that mailer, it's going to say something like, not ready to get a quote just yet. We're working on your neighbor's house, down the street, text whatever number or scan the QR code to follow the job. And then people are nosy, right? They like the whole like HGTV
Yeah, they
stuff.
are.
So we do
They're
that.
hella
We'll do a
nosy.
video during the demo of the job. We'll we'll come up with some problem in the middle that like, oh, there's this big thing, there's mold or something, and then my guys fix it, right? We make it dramatic.
I love that, bro. That is genius. I'm stealing that as a piece of advice. I'm just let you know that I'm stealing that. That is genius.
Yeah, and so that's the thing
They
with
are
capturing
nosy.
the people
Neighbors
that
are
are not ready
nosy
right
as
now.
shit for sure. They're so
Yeah.
nosy. All right, so let's talk about the cards themselves. So obviously you've probably did some A/B testing or ABCDEFG testing, right? You've sent out a lot of different stuff. Do you help your clients, navigate the formation of the card and the actual like graphic design of it, or is that something they're bringing to you kind of from somebody else?
Yeah, we'll help them put it together. And just so you know, that's not all we do, just the
Yeah,
direct
I get
mail
it.
stuff. But yeah, for the direct mail, most people don't have a postcard already that we're working with. So we have a graphic design team over here. And then, obviously I know kind of what works and what doesn't. So we'll help them.
Any specific best practices you'd like to share with the audience who maybe want to learn a little bit more about what does and doesn't work from a mail? And then we'll get into some of the other things that Job Command does as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you just want to basically, you have a few seconds, right? It's people get the thing in the mail, they look at it, and it goes either in the A pile or the B pile, right? Where they keep it or it goes in the trash. So
Yep.
they have to, you have to have a headline, captures their attention right away. They got to know just at a glance what you do. Like, okay, this company does carpet cleaning, right? You want to have multiple ways to respond. So a lot of people are just putting like a phone number or something, or just putting a QR code. And with that, some people may feel more comfortable calling. Younger generation, maybe they feel more comfortable texting. Some people, it's a lower friction way to respond by scanning the QR code. And so if you don't have all of those, then you're cutting out the people that would prefer that as their method of response. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
multiple ways to respond. And then I always recommend putting some kind of offer on your postcard where if the people aren't ready to respond to get an estimate right now, something to capture their information, such as the, not ready now, follow our, 4-part video series showing you, us working on your neighbor's house street.
All right, so I got two quick questions. One, do you get some sort of special permission from that homeowner to use their project in a vlog style? I assume you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
we do a whole bunch of weird stuff like that, and you do got to get their permission. But it's not as
I
hard as
love that
people
idea though. I think that's genius.
Yeah, it's not as hard as people think. You get permission for that at the closing table. You don't ask them afterwards because you'd be surprised what people will agree to if it means getting a little bit of a discount on their project, right?
For sure. And the second question is, how do you track specific mailing campaigns to know where that lead came from? Is there like a short code? Is like, how do you know which which mailing, we'll say campaign or whatever outbound campaign? Do you use short codes or discount codes or whatever? How do you know? I've always been curious, like how do you track where that lead came from which campaign it was generated from?
Yeah, so you could do like call tracking numbers. You could do we're real big on those short codes like for
Got it.
texting.
Yep.
We've always had real good success with texting in. So those are kind of like the two main ways that I know of.
No, that's awesome. All right. So what else you mentioned earlier a few minutes ago, like this mailer's not all Job Command does. So what else, what is on the list of things that Job Command brings to an ecosystem like yours?
Yeah, so we have the data, we have the mailers, and then the big thing right now that a lot of people like is the marketing automations. So,
Okay.
I mentioned we used to use MailChimp.
Yep.
When we were using that, it's you could just do emails. I think now a lot of people have texting and stuff, but at the time when we were using it, it was just emails. So, someone opts into your neighborhood vlog, right? And you get their contact info. With MailChimp, you could have emails to follow up with them, keep them on your list, and convince them to get an estimate. With Job Command, we have the email sequences, just like MailChimp. And then we also have where you could add in text messages, you could add in automated direct mail, and then you could add in voicemail drops as well. So you could like mix those together, right? So maybe there's again, maybe you're doing your neighborhood vlog. It's they go through the video series, you ask them for an estimate at the end, they still say no, and then you put them on, maybe they get a text one day, a few more days later, they get an email, maybe after that, they get a voicemail drop, and then they get a postcard in the mail, and you can have all that happen automatically.
Man, it sounds like you put a shit ton of work into building this thing out, man. Just like there's so much that goes into building that. It's commendable, man. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's not fun, that's for sure. Building it.
No, it is not fun. And you monetize yours. I'm not even monetizing mine. Mine's strictly, retention focused. My app is built to increase our retention rate, not actually monetize. So like I have no direct return on investment in the short term. So
Yeah. And so
it's
the thing with ours too is it's all custom built. So like we're not using like, an API from some other email company. We're not rebranding Go High Level, right? All of our stuff's custom built specifically for contractors.
so all right. So I know for a fact right now there's someone listening going, that sounds way too complicated to set up. Like I just know it. I'm sure that's something you sell against on a daily basis with getting new users is like, I don't have the time, I don't have the interest. That sounds complicated. I don't want to do it. So like I imagine it's not as complicated as it may sound, but what does the Job Command team or what does setup process look like? Because like once you set it, you can forget it. It just happens, right?
Yeah.
Not in even that's not true. You got to update things and copy and new content sporadically, but it's somewhat of a set it and forget it. But like that initial build out's going to take time, effort, energy, information back and forth between you and the customer. So what does that process look like? And like how much hand holding does a client get to set that stuff up?
Yeah. So we're huge on hand holding. One of the main things we pride ourselves on over here is customer support. So we don't play the support ticket game like a lot of software companies do, where you have to put in a ticket, wait a few days to get a response and get your issue handled. With us, when you get signed up, first thing we do is we do an onboarding call. So we'll jump on a call with you. We'll get you logged in. We're going to show you exactly how to use the platform, which is like a 15-minute call. Again, it's like stupid simple to use. After that, you get an account manager assigned to you. So you have their phone number, their direct line. You call them anytime during business hours. They're going to answer. They're going to call you right back. We have, you email your account manager. They're going to get back to you same day. So we work with people really, really close. And again, the thing is super easy to use. It's built by a guy that sucks at technology. And it's, every time we launch a new feature, like when we launched like this, marketing follow-up sequencing tool, my test is always I have my dad use it because my dad, he was a contractor. I'm a third generation contractor, just so you know. And he's like the most untech savvy person on planet Earth. right? So when we launch a new feature, I give it to him and I say, figure this out, right? And if he can't just figure it out within like 10 minutes, then we know it's too complicated and we go back and change it. So any of this stuff in there, you could jump in, you could figure it out. If you don't have time to write like the content stuff for your emails, which is a big thing with contractors, we have Chat GPT integrated into that, so you could actually, have it write out your emails, and then you just go in and make a couple little edits here and there, super quick. And then we do workshops like every week. So we do a weekly support call, group call, and then we do weekly workshops every week also. So we'll sit there and write out emails together. And then at the end of like the 30-minute call, you have an email sequence written out, right? Maybe there's a holiday coming up. We'll jump on a workshop before the holiday. We'll write out an offer that we're going to send out to everyone to bring in a bunch of business for a holiday sale. So we'll sit there and do that, with the whole group of our users. Not all 2,000 show up, but
Obviously, yeah.
we do that together, so you guys get everything you need, right?
I mean, that's a huge value add as a service, because I'm sure you've even learned from it by getting feedback from people in the field that are using it on what's working, what isn't, in different ways to like copy and, gain interest quickly. So that's a really great communal way where you're borrowing information, little pieces from everybody. That's really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Does your platform integrate with other CRMs that are, I kind of want to get into why did you go the route of building a CRM, but does it currently integrate with some of the primary ones that are out there, or all of them, or what does that look like for somebody who's like, again, not wanting to switch or add new?
Right.
Does it integrate? And if so, like, what does that look like, or how does somebody know if it will or won't?
Yeah, so we integrate with most of the big CRMs. So we integrate with Job Nimbus, Job Progress, AccuLinks, I think RoofLink, Service Titan, House Call Pro, and then HubSpot Salesforce. So we integrate with most people, and if we don't have integration, or if there's like a new cool CRM coming up, we could get an integration with them quick. And basically what that would look like is, anytime you say you want to use it to automate your direct mail, you could set it up so every time you switch a lead status in your CRM from appointment set to deal closed, then it'll automatically trigger a campaign and job command to go out maybe to like the 50, 100 closest neighbors. So you could do that. And then, we're figuring out some good ways to integrate the email sequence tool into CRMs. A lot of CRMs already have that. Ours is a lot better than most CRMs. So we have some cool stuff hopefully coming up around that as well.
So a lot of the programs that are out there for direct mail and automation and stuff and around the data is very focused on the B2C space. Is there a way to integrate what you're doing into the B2B space? Obviously, I'm targeting contractors. Like, is there a way for me to like hit everybody who pulls a permit this month? Like, is there a way that we could automate that? Because that would be really freaking cool, because I don't have a great way to like target active contractors, right? And like, we help people like yourself, and obviously not everybody's interested in coaching, and it's a very ego-driven environment. People aren't willing to ask for help, but can it be utilized for B2B for someone who's trying to maybe expand upon their B2B space? Maybe B2C is not as important, or maybe not as prevalent in their ecosystem.
Yeah, so one of the things we're working on, and this would be more B2B for like contractors, but one of the things we're working on is commercial data. We actually already have a pretty big database built up of commercial building owners, so they'll be able to pull lists of commercial building owners and send a postcard to them. And then we're also working on getting tenant improvements also. So you'll basically be able to pull a list of companies, like the old company lease expired, and then the new company that's going to be moving in soon, the contact info for those people, and like the right decision makers there to get a hold of them to land jobs for tenant improvements. So those are the two things that are coming up for that. As far as like what you're doing,
help me, Kevin. Help me get in front of contractors that need it, man. There's got to be a way.
I'm all about cold calling. So, if I'm if I'm trying to get in front of contractors, I'm just picking up the phone and calling, to be honest. That's how we've gotten most of our customers here at Job Command.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do hardly any internet marketing besides like my stupid posts on Facebook when I'm bored. Um, yeah, it's all been from cold calling, which people have their feelings about that. Anyone listening, just so you know, we're not like Home Advisor. We're not going to just like bug the shit out of you and have some like, horrible pitch. We
No
rarely
one can
get.
be as bad as home. You couldn't try to be as bad as Home
Yeah.
Advisor. Like,
So hopefully there wasn't people that we're gonna like look into the platform and then they heard I cold call and they're like, oh no, fuck that guy.
no,
But
it's
yeah,
there's someone right now who door knocks who has no right to judge you at all. I ain't going to
yeah,
people's
yeah,
front door and interrupting their dinner time.
yeah.
Stupid contractors.
So we do a lot of cold calling. We're really, really good at it. We hardly ever get cussed out, to be honest. We're professionals. We know what we're doing. We know how to not piss people off as much as possible. And usually the people that sign up through cold calls, like the most common feedback I get is, hey, I don't know, like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I never respond to cold callers good, but for some reason,
Yeah.
something about you guys, resonated with me, right? So we cold call. Usually on that cold call, we book an estimate or we'll just send you out some info. So we're not like pushing people into trying to sign up right there.
Yep.
But yeah, we do that. We do mailers ourselves, obviously. We're sending out postcards to companies and a lot of cold email stuff. And that's pretty much it.
So what is the investment financially to get into Job Command and get it set up and make it working for you?
Yeah. So right now it's only $149 a month to month. You can cancel anytime.
And what is a typical spend per month on your client base around the mailers and things like that? Like what's a typical, so 149 gets you the information, but then there's the expense of the actual activity, right? So what is a typical monthly spend of one of your clients right now?
Yeah, so it depends on what you're doing. So if you're going to be mailing to like the new movers, typically, if I had to say on average, it's in like most like towns, unless you're in like a big metro area, it's usually like 50 or so new movers a week that you'll be able to pull up.
Mm.
And so in that case, you could plan on spending like it's like 25 bucks a week through us. Yeah, then
So
you'll
like
get leads.
50 cents a piece, basically.
Yeah, so you're talking like another $100 on top of the 149. You're getting leads in if you want to market to new movers. Now, with the neighborhood mailings, you don't really got to worry about spend because what I always recommend people do from the moment you sign up for Job Command, from there on, every single quote you put together, just tack on a neighborhood marketing budget for it, right? Put it as a line item. And then every time you land one of those jobs, take that money, put it in Job Command, and send out that mailer, right? So that should never come out of your pocket. So with that, you're just spending the 149 and that's it.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what are you most excited about with the beta test of your CRM right now?
Yeah. So what's going to make that really different is we're getting really big into the AI stuff.
Got
And I can't talk too much about that because
it.
I'm just a small guy. I don't have millions of dollars in VC funding. We're fully bootstrapped over here, self-funded. So I don't want to put it out there and some fucking big shot, has the
No,
same
it's
features.
fine. No, I appreciate it. No, I get it.
But yeah, but we're real big into AI. And so what I could say is this: picture Siri mixed with Zapier. So basically being able to talk into an app and have it do anything that like a live assistant could do.
Cool. Well, I'm
Yeah.
excited to see it come to fruition and maybe be able to test it out, and maybe some of our clients will be interested in like, getting on it and seeing how that might work for them. So no, man,
Yeah, definitely.
I appreciate the effort you've put in and the financial effort that you've put into, building something that helps make the world a little bit easier for contractors, right? It's hard enough. You got everybody working against you. The government works against you. Clients work against you. Subs work against you. Employees work against you. Having something to
I know, man.
simplify some of those, as obviously you've experienced, so,
Try being
commendable
in
to you for the effort,
California.
man. I can. And I got clients out there. I'm like, it's a different world out there, man. Like employee management's different out there. It's just different. It's just different.
Yeah, yeah. I'm probably gonna be getting out of here pretty soon, to be honest. It's crazy. When I add up how much I'd be saving in taxes and stuff from getting out of California, it's insane. Where are
Yeah,
you at?
I'm in the Carolinas, South
Carolinas.
Carolina
Okay.
right now, but I lived in North Carolina previously. Yeah,
Nice.
when I was working in the remodeling space and the roofing space, I was primarily in the Charlotte market.
Yeah.
Very easy to do business there. Very easy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
clients in California, man. I don't envy it at all. At all.
Yeah.
It's just different.
It's tough,
I mean,
man.
well, I appreciate. So, where does somebody go if they want to learn more about Job Command and what's going on and how to get plugged in? Well, how do they get connected to that?
Yeah, definitely. So you can go to jobcommand.io. You could also just send me an email, kevin@jobcommand.io. So it's IO at the end. That's like the trendy tech thing, right? Or if you're on,
It
yeah,
is. It really
if you're
is.
on, if you're on Facebook, you can message me there also. But probably email or just the website's the best way to get a hold of me.
Well, man, I appreciate you going out on a limb and making me the first podcast that you're willing to come on. I really appreciate you coming on. I really appreciate you bringing the value. I really appreciate you and the effort, like I said, you put into building something that simplifies the process. So, I wish you continued luck and growth and success in that. And obviously you've proven some really, I mean, I think having over 2,000 users in the first 2 years, basically from guerrilla marketing, that's pretty respectable. And I'm sure it will continue as the results continue to be there for your client base. So, man, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing the knowledge today, and hopefully I'll bring you back in 2 years when you're at 20,000 users.
Yeah, hopefully, man. I appreciate you having me. Thanks.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, go give this guy a follow, reach out to him, check out jobcommand.io, and see if it's a good fit for you. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Mike.